Hello, beautiful people. Today we're here to talk about how to determine your value at work. What if your value isn't what you do, but what gets better because you're there? If you're still tracking your value in terms of hours and effort, you might be playing completely the wrong game. And if you think your job description defines your value, it doesn't. We need to rethink that. At the end of this video, you're going to be able to understand how to think about your value at work in terms of your outcomes, not your effort. I'm going to introduce you to simple strategies that will allow you to be able to track the value of your work and track and document your professional impact. Also, I want to help you recognize the importance of the alignment between your personal values and the values at work. I also want to help you understand how accepting feedback, taking initiative, actually increases your value at work without you necessarily having to have the title. And I want to help you adopt a mindset shift from efforting and doing work to thinking about how you add value. When you start thinking about your value at work, one of the best ways to start doing that is to think not about what I do and how I contribute and how I add value. That's super important. But the easy way to get to it is, what do other people consider to be valuable about what it is that I do? Now, that requires that you actually start identifying people inside your organization as your customers for the work that you do. So say, for example, you're doing requirements gathering for an information technology department, and you're going out there trying to understand what your internal customers would consider to be valuable in terms of a systems solution to a particular problem. And you're going out and you're doing interviews and you're trying to get a handle on what they consider valuable. Or you're bringing a whole bunch of them together in a room and you're having a dialogue around what they would consider to be valuable. How will they know when the system is doing what they wanted to do to support their work? Now, this is particularly important at the moment as we're looking at AI systems, because the possibilities of it are so huge. How do we even begin to have the conversation around what is value in this case? So if you get an understanding of what your internal customers consider to be valuable, it will allow you to be able to go, okay, is that something that I can deliver? Is that something that they would consider to be valuable? How will they know when I've been successful in delivering this? That becomes your value for this particular project. As you start taking on new projects or new work initiatives, or you start contributing to other people's projects, make sure that you have a good understanding of what it's going to take to satisfy the internal and maybe even the external customer. As you do that, you'll get a much, much better and stronger handle both on your qualitative value and on your quantitative value. So let's talk about those two for a moment. Your qualitative value is what people can talk about, what people can say was a positive thing in terms of their experience of working with you. It doesn't have a numerical value associated with it, but it's equally important in terms of assessing whether or not you're doing a great job and you're adding value to your customers. On the other end is the quantitative metrics that you can put around things. Now, sometimes a lot of people find this more difficult when they start thinking about value in terms of the value that they can bring. Your ability to be able to hone your understanding of this is a practice, and it's a skill set that you can start building literally tomorrow. So let's go back to our example of saying, I am gathering requirements for a new AI technology that we are going to provide for the legal department, let's say. And I want to be able to bring 5 of the top people into the room. They're going to be the primary users, and I want to be able to listen to them and understand what they would consider valuable. I also want to be able to think about how I'm guiding and steering them around what is value in this particular case. I want to be able to talk to them about what I think the AI could do for them. I want to be able to talk to them about the limits of the AI. I want to be able to talk to them about the risks of the AI. So I've done a bunch of homework already in terms of understanding how I can help them step through this quite difficult decision-making process as to what they want AI to do and how it would add value for them. And I know what are the limits and boundaries in there. So now, even if we did nothing more than have that conversation, they come out of the room saying, hey, Jennifer did some really great work there. What she did was she helped us understand the boundaries, she helped us understand the limits, she pointed out some of the risks. That's qualitative value. And that qualitative value is really about what they thought was useful in terms of conversation and discussion and learning that they did. Now we want to switch to the qualitative value. So if I say to them, okay, we're going to be able to provide a system for you that does X, Y, and Z that you asked for. How do you think that's going to make you more efficient? Is that going to reduce your cycle time for a review of contracts? Is that going to increase your ability to be able to make more accurate reviews of contracts? Is that going to allow you to be able to bring more of the decision making in-house and not have to go to external counsel? So what you're looking at in there is you're looking at, are there numbers that I can associate? Cycle time is one of the simplest, easiest, and most effective ones to begin with as you start educating yourself as to what are the quantitative value impacts that you can have. So when you start thinking about my value at work, look at it through the lens of the customer and actually go and ask the customer, because it's a very compelling partnership conversation for them to have someone come to them and say, how do you consider that I add value in this project in this particular circumstances? What would be useful for you? Or if we go back to our example of working with the legal department and I'm gathering requirements, when we finish up the session, which might be an hour or 2 hours, and we're having conversation around what would be valuable for them, I then close the conversation early and I say to them, was it valuable for you that I was able to show you the limits of the technology, show you the risks associated with it, and show you how I think it could be used, and get them to give you feedback on whether or not they think it was valuable. They will inevitably come back with another suggestion as to what other things they think could be valuable. Now, one of the most powerful ways for you to assess and grow your value and demonstrate your value at work is to be really great at receiving feedback, onboarding the feedback, not taking it personally, being able to go, hey, that's a great idea, did not think about that. I will add that to our next session. Thank you very much for that. As you start thinking about how do you determine your value at work, it's really valuable for you, and it makes life a lot easier if there's some kind of congruence between what the values of your workplace are and what your personal values are. So, for example, if one of your personal values is lifelong learning, I did another video on this, strongly recommend you have a look at it. If one of your personal values is lifelong learning and you have an organization that's moving pretty quickly and interested in introducing new technologies and interested in pursuing new markets, now you've got a lovely confluence between those two things. So I'm interested in learning more on a pretty constant basis, and I'm working for an organization that is going through a lot of change and transformation and is interested in adopting new technologies. So that means that whenever you put your hand up for something, someone is saying that's a valuable quality to have because I want this person to be in constant learning mode. So one of the ways to determine your value is also how your personal values and what you're looking to pursue and what you're looking to accomplish for you in your own life and your own career align with what your company is looking to do at the same time. Lots of people talk about initiative when they talk about how valuable somebody is. I would talk about it as your ability to be able to listen to other people and make offers. That is absolutely taking initiative, but it's a much more tangible, practical way about going about doing that. Let's go back to our example of working with the legal department. If I go back to the legal department and I say, hey, I noticed the other day that you were all struggling with your ability to be able to experience the sort of responses that an AI would give you if you're asking them about a particular legal search or a particular legal document. And so what I've done is I've brought in one of our potential vendors. They're not a confirmed vendor yet, one of our potential vendors. And I've asked them to give you a hands-on, first-hand experience around what it would look like to actually engage with the AI and the type of responses you could get. That's a super valuable offer for a small group of people who will appreciate what you're doing and consider you to be more valuable in your role because you're building trust with them by making offers that actually take care of a concern that they had in terms of how does this thing actually work. So you don't necessarily have to be in a project leadership role for you to be able to take initiative and make offers. As a matter of fact, the sooner you can learn to take initiative and make offers, the better, because you will actually set yourself up to be able to be in constant learning mode. Because once you start making offers, people are going to give you feedback. So there's going to be someone in your cohort of, say, 5 people who are looking at how legal is going to use AI, and they're going to come back to you and go, oh, I didn't really like the way XYZ happened. And you're going to to have to go, oh, I'm sorry that didn't work for you. It worked for everybody else. Let me see if there's something I can do to adapt that for you tomorrow. But what you're doing in there is you're putting yourself in a position of getting constant feedback. The constant feedback is going to be good and bad because constant feedback comes in a spectrum. The chances are, if you're really paying attention and you're making powerful offers and you're listening deeply and you're taking care of people and you're up-leveling your skills constantly, you'll get more positive than you'll get negative, but you'll still get negative. So what you need to do in that circumstance is, it's not about your worth as a human being. It's your value in that particular moment. And that's just a growth opportunity for you. If there's someone who is genuinely committed to being miserable and is never going to be satisfied with what you're doing, that's also a growth opportunity for you. Best to avoid those people and don't invite them to your design sessions. The other thing that's really valuable for helping you determine and grow your own value is your ability to be able to understand your own unique contributions. So many of us kind of blindly fit ourselves into our job descriptions and we do what we believe the job description is telling us to do. And we don't necessarily look back and go, wait, now, what am I particularly good at? If you spend more time at work asking yourself, where do I do things really easily? Where am I really great at accomplishing certain things? Where am I really good at teaching other people how to do things? You'll begin to identify that you have different skills and capabilities than the people around you. And that's inevitable because we're biological beings and we fit on a bell curve. And so you're going to have skills that are here, someone else is going to have skills that are over here. You're both doing the same job, you're just doing it slightly differently. Your way might be more effective for them, their way might be more effective for you in certain different areas of the role. But if you start tuning yourself into your unique capabilities and you start paying attention to them, what you'll do over time is you'll start finding places where those unique capabilities fit more effectively and where you can more easily and more readily and with less effort be able to deliver amazing value for people. The other thing that you can do with those is you can start to drill down on how you begin to quantify them. So back to our example with the legal department, you're really good at communicating risk to people, let's just say. And what you'll discover over time is that is an incredible capacity that is highly valued in organizations because it reduces risk. If you're really good at that and you kind of enjoy it and you sort of like the process of picking holes in things and seeing where things are going to fail and things are going to go wrong, that skill set is very valuable if it's not viewed as being negative all the time. If you grow that skill set as a way of being highly discerning and identifying where risk is likely to show up, and you don't make it into being the squeaky wheel and the person who's always telling other people what's going to go wrong, then there's a beautiful confluence between your natural skill set and what it is that the company would consider to be very valuable. So as you seek to determine your value at work, really encourage you to go the easy route. Go figure out what you're great at. Go figure out what it is that you love. Go see where those things converge inside your company. Go make offers. Get yourself ready to be able to receive feedback, both good and bad. And as you go through the process, remember what you're looking to do is you're looking to find the flow and the fit in terms of your value and how other people perceive your value and how you design and determine your value in the process. The Get Promoted assessment, there's a link down in the comments. It will help you start doing some of these more self-reflective questions and begin to ask yourself kind of how well you're doing and begin to help you be more honest with yourself. That assessment is free. It's absolutely worth doing. It's also at www.getpromotedassessment.com. And as you do it, please let me know how it works for you. It will help you start thinking about how you determine your own value inside of work, in your company, in your project team, in your organization. As you do it, I wish you the very best of luck and continue to do it because it's something you're going to have to do pretty much for the rest of your career. Enjoy and good luck.